Now, so key things with this in terms of working in shared drives is what people often say to me is, well, that's great, but we work on stuff that's not Google files. Like, we don't just use Google Docs and Google Sheets and Google Slides. We also use, Word documents, PDFs, images, and most organizations still work in sort of two ecosystems at least. So key little tool that you can use alongside of Google Drive, and particularly around shared drives, is a little tool called Google Drive FileStream. Now, I know we've got people watching for all kinds of organizations, and some organizations you may have access to this, some you may not. So I'm just sort of speaking generally here. But what Drive FileStream does is actually give you the ability to work really effectively with non-Google files from either your Windows Explorer, if you're a Windows user, or from Finder, if you're a Mac user. So on the right-hand side of my screen, hopefully you can see, I have just got my Windows Explorer up, and you'll see what I have. Actually, if I jump into this PC, you'll see there's my local C drive, and you'll see I actually have a G drive, which is Google Drive FileStream. So this is very much like, you might be used to having a V drive or a T drive or an S drive or something like that for your organization. You can actually have this G drive for Google Drive FileStream. And what happens with that is it actually gives me visibility over my Google Drive here in Drive FileStream in Windows Explorer in my case. And I can jump in, see all of my drives. And for example, if I wanted to work on a Word file or something like that, I can just jump in. And I have prepared some earlier, of course. So here I am, I've got a list of a whole lot of Word files. And if I wanted to work on one of those, rather than having to come over here in the web view, download it, make some changes, upload it again, what I can just do is I can just open it here, and it's actually going to open right up in Microsoft Word, which just take a moment. Cool, I've got a few thank yous. I'm just looking on the chat on the side where we're waiting for it to load. So that's cool. So you can see this is opened up in Microsoft Word now, just as a full Microsoft Word file. I can make changes, so I'll just make something red. And when I save it, what happens is down the bottom, you can probably see a really tiny little icon down the bottom of my Windows taskbar here. It's actually flashing, and what it's doing is it's automatically pushing that back up to Google Drive. So with these tools, with shared drives and Google Drive FileStream, we can, as an organization, have our entire document storage solution in the cloud, but also have the ability to work with Google files and non-Google files absolutely seamlessly. So, I mean, I won't go into it today, but we do have a course that covers all this as well. I can even, if I am in Microsoft Word, I can see if other people are in that file, so we don't have conflicts. So yeah, that's there's a whole lot more to it than that. But our top tip really as a remote organization is to make sure you have some kind of solid document management solution like this sitting in the cloud, because then you are working really easily together. And we haven't even got onto collaboration yet. So cool. Guys, do you have anything to add to that before I jump into the collaboration piece?
Probably just from past experience with shared drive. When I came into this business 5 months ago, I think everybody has their own methodology of trying to locate files and folders. And I think the one thing that I've seen with shared drive is somebody really needs to own that space and really set it up from, with consultation of team members, of course, but set it up in a certain way and really stick to that. I think Sam's just gone through about a month-and-a-half process reorganizing and resetting up our internal shared drive. And I think from what I've seen of that process, even though it is a lengthy process, once you've done it and set it and done it well, as long as you manage and police it to a point, then, you're going to have a really nice intuitive file sharing system where everyone can find what they're looking for with an easy, and you've done some really cool tricks around just some guides on when you go into the file. I don't know whether or not you want to share what that looks like, because I think that was really a call out of what you did for people.
I can show that. And I can also, so here's just one in a bit of a demo drive that's safe to show. So what I've done in every drive is actually put a guide, really simple, just to explain to people what goes in that drive and what doesn't. And probably it's a good time to say that the whole idea of using shared drives is that you don't just have one shared drive with everything. You actually have multiple shared drives all linked to purpose, and that's because you can control access to those with different people needing different files. So even in our relatively small organization, I think we've ended up with 10 to 12 different drives. So yeah, so here's just an example. Sorry, it's a bit slow to load on my connection end. Really quickly, tick, cross, here's what goes in here and here's what doesn't. And that's just living in a Google Doc.